Something changes after 40. Not dramatically, not all at once, but quietly, room by room, drawer by drawer. You start to notice that your home no longer feels the way it did when you first made it yours. You look around, and everything is technically fine. Nothing is broken. Nothing is obviously wrong. And yet, there is a weight in the air that you cannot name, a heaviness that follows you from the kitchen to the living room to the bedroom, a low hum of unease that was not there 10 years ago. You tell yourself it is stress, work, age, life. But here is what Japan knows that most people over 40 in the Western world have never once been told. That weight has a source, and it is not what you think. There is a woman in Nagano named Haruko. She turned 62 last spring. She lives alone in a 2-room apartment that her neighbors describe every single time they enter the same way. They say it feels like exhaling, not because it is beautiful, not because it is expensive, because there is nothing in it that does not belong. No objects from the version of herself she is no longer living, no items kept, because removing them felt like admitting something. No things that sit in drawers and corners and surfaces, quietly telling her every day that the past was better or that the future is uncertain. After 40, Japan says, is the moment to look at your home with completely different eyes, not the eyes of the person who is accumulating, the eyes of the person who has earned the right to choose only what belongs. Today, I am showing you 15 things that people in Japan rarely keep in their homes after 40, things that feel completely normal to keep, things that most of us have never once questioned, but things that are quietly doing something to you every single day in ways you have never connected to them. Stay until number 15 because I am giving you the 2-step Japanese home reset test that tells you exactly what to remove first, under 5 minutes, tonight. And trust me. Number 7 is something most of you over 40 are holding on to right now for a reason that sounds perfectly reasonable and that Japan considers one of the most emotionally expensive things a person can keep in their home. And number 11 is the one nobody expects. The one that when you hear it, you will know immediately and completely whether you have it and what it has been doing. Let us begin. These first 4 items are the ones Japan sees as heavy. Not heavy in the obvious sense, heavy in the way quite put your finger on, feels a little lighter once they are gone. Item 1. Anything in your home that represents the body you used to have. After 40, bodies change. Every body, without exception and without apology. And most people, somewhere in their home, have kept something from before that change. A garment in a size that no longer fits. A photograph that is not displayed but not discarded. Something that sits in a drawer or the back of a closet and functions every single time it crosses your mind as a quiet and very specific form of self-rejection. In Japan, there is a concept called jibun wo aisuru, loving the self as it is, not as it was. And the Japanese understanding of what a home is for, after 40 specifically, includes a gentle but very clear understanding that a home filled with objects representing a previous version of the body is a home that refuses daily to fully accept the person currently living in it. Slow down here. Let this land. Every morning you open a drawer or a wardrobe and see something that only fit the body you had. 15 years ago, your home is delivering a message, not out loud, quietly. The kind of message that lands below the level of conscious thought and accumulates over years. I was better then. I should get back to that. I am not enough as I am right now. That is not motivation. That is a wound held open by an object you could release today. Do this now. Find the one item in your home that belongs to the body of 15 years ago, the one that has survived every clear out, because getting rid of it felt like giving up. Hold it. Notice what it actually makes you feel. If that feeling is not warmth, release it. Dress the person who lives here now with the same respect you would give anyone else living in your home. Item 2, the hobby supplies for the person you were planning to become. After 40, most people have at least one collection of objects that represents a version of themselves they fully intended to build, but have not yet begun. The art supplies in the closet, the language learning materials on the shelf, the musical instrument in the case, the fitness equipment that has become a very expensive coat hook. In Japanese minimalism, this category of object has a specific name: mirai no jibun no mono, things belonging to a future self. And the gentle but honest Japanese understanding of these objects is this: a future self that has not arrived in 5 years of that object existing in your home will probably not arrive while that object continues to exist in your home, because the object has become a substitute for the intention rather than a tool for it. Every time you pass those art supplies, your brain completes a transaction. I am someone who means to do this. The meaning to do it becomes the doing of it in the mind, without any of the doing actually happening. Hold the object. Ask one honest question. In the last 12 months, have I used this? If the answer is no, either begin today, genuinely and immediately, or release the object and release the guilt that comes with it. Both are acts of self-respect. Neither requires waiting any longer. Item 3, gifts you kept out of obligation rather than love. This one is the one most people know about and almost nobody acts on, because the guilt of acting on it feels larger than the guilt of keeping it. On the shelf, on the windowsill, in the cabinet. The object given to you by someone whose feelings you were protecting when you accepted it, and have been protecting ever since by never removing it from your sight line. In Japan, the receipt of a gift and the keeping of the gift are understood as 2 separate acts of kindness. The first is the kindness between giver and receiver in the moment of giving. The second is a daily performance of gratitude that the gift itself was never meant to require. Keeping the gift and feeling grateful for the gesture are not the same thing. One lives in your home. The other lives in you. Every object on your shelf that exists primarily because you felt you had no choice but to keep it is not an expression of love. It is the physical presence of obligation. An obligation, lived with daily in the home where you are supposed to exhale, is a very specific and quiet form of weight. Honor the kindness that was in the giving, release the object. The love was never the thing. It was always the feeling between 2 people. And that feeling does not leave the room when the object does. Item 4, the documents and paperwork from decisions you have already made. After 40, most people have accumulated an extensive archive of their own past. Old statements, expired policies, receipts from purchases made years ago, the paperwork from the house you no longer live in, the documents from the job you no longer have. These papers are not just clutter. They are a physical record of every chapter that is behind you, kept in the present tense of your current home as though those chapters are still open. In Japan, after 40, there is a recognized practice of what might be translated as releasing the record, a deliberate clearing of documentation that belongs to closed chapters of a life, not destroying everything, keeping what is genuinely necessary for legal or financial reasons, but releasing everything that exists only because someone once filed it away and no one ever asked whether it still belonged. Go to the drawer, the box, the pile. Touch each document and ask one question. Does keeping this serve the life I am living now or the life I have already lived? File what is genuinely necessary. Release everything else. Now we are moving into the items that cause tiny stress, what Japan calls kogai, micro-harm, every single time your eyes pass over them. These are not dramatic. They do not announce themselves, but they accumulate across an entire day into something you feel as tiredness that you cannot fully explain. And item 7 is the one I promised, the one most of you over 40 are holding on to right now for a reason that feels completely reasonable. Stay with me. Item 5. Every supplement, remedy, and health product you bought with good intentions and stopped using. After 40, the supplement industry discovers you with extraordinary enthusiasm. And you, like most people, have responded by accumulating a collection of bottles, packets, and products that arrived with genuine hope and have been sitting mostly untouched in a cabinet ever since. Each one of those bottles is not just taking up space. It is a small, daily, visual record of an intention that did not become a habit. And intentions that did not become habits, kept visible in your environment, do not motivate you toward the habit. They remind you that you failed at it. Research from the Princeton Neuroscience Institute found that visual clutter in the immediate environment continuously competes for neural resources. Your supplement cabinet is not a neutral space. It is a collection of small, daily cortisol signals dressed up as wellness. Use what you are genuinely using consistently. Clear everything else. Your home is not a pharmacy for a healthier version of yourself that has not arrived. It is the home of the person living here now. Item 6. Furniture that has been in the same position since you moved in. This one is counterintuitive until you hear the Japanese reasoning, and then it is impossible to disagree with. In Japan, the home is considered a living environment that should be periodically refreshed, not just cleaned, not just decluttered, but physically rearranged in ways that change the relationship between the person and the space. Furniture that has never moved is furniture that the home has grown around, rather than furniture that serves the life being lived. After 40, the life changes, the body changes, the daily needs change. And a living room arranged for a version of your life that existed when you were 35 may be quietly working against the version you are living now without either you or the room ever noticing. Move one piece of furniture this week, not everything. 1. Notice whether the room asks something different of you after. Item 7, the one I told you about, the photographs of relationships that ended in pain. Not all photographs from the past, not memories that are genuinely warm. This is specific. This is the photograph, or the album, or the image you never deleted from your phone of the relationship that ended in a way that still has some part of your chest contracted when you think about it directly. After 40, most people have at least one. And after 40, most people have been carrying it long enough that it has almost stopped feeling like carrying. It has just become part of the weight of the home. In Japan, there is a Buddhist-rooted understanding of what happens when we keep the physical evidence of pain in our immediate environment. The object does not hold the memory. It holds the wound, not the person, not the warmth that existed before the pain, the wound itself. Slow down here. Let this land. Every time that photograph exists in the peripheral awareness of your home, not even directly seen, just known to be there, your nervous system registers it at a low, continuous level, a compression around the heart so familiar you have stopped identifying it as being about anything specific. It is just how it feels to be in your home. You are allowed to close that chapter fully. Releasing the photograph is not erasing the person. It is not pretending the relationship did not matter. It is making a decision that the wound that ended it does not get to live in your home any longer, that your present does not get crowded by that specific past. You deserve a home where every room feels open. Item 8, your collection of plastic bags, rubber bands, and twist ties. After 40, most people have a specific drawer where the entropy of the home quietly accumulates. The bag of bags, the cluster of rubber bands around nothing, the twist ties from bread consumed years ago. The collection that exists, not because it was intentionally created, but because nothing in it ever felt urgent enough to address. Japan calls this category of object the invisible clutter. Things that individually cost nothing to keep and together constitute the single most consistent source of low-level domestic disorder in any home. Clear this drawer tonight, completely. In under 8 minutes, keep only the 3 items you would actively reach for if you needed them. Release the rest, and the drawer they live in will feel like an entirely different drawer. Item 9, the award, certificate, or trophy from an achievement nobody in your current life witnessed. After 40, most people have at least one, often several, physical markers of accomplishments from earlier chapters of life that the people currently around them never shared. In Japan, the home is designed for the life being lived now. Objects from achievements that belong to a past chapter of life, displayed or stored, create a subtle but real division in the energy of the home between who you were then and who you are now. They can become anchors to an identity that no longer fully fits, rather than foundations for one that does. Photograph them, honor what they represent, then decide whether they belong displayed in the home you are currently living or archived in a way that frees the home for the life happening now. Item 10, the collection of takeaway menus, loyalty cards, and business cards you will never use. The drawer beside the door, the little pile on the kitchen counter, the wallet slot crammed with cards from businesses you visited once. Each one is a tiny, suspended decision. A small, I might need this someday, that has been renewed automatically every time the object has been seen and not dealt with. In Japan, this category of object is understood to constitute decision debt. Choices not made that accumulate in a home until the home itself begins to feel like an unresolved task list rather than a place of rest. Spend 10 minutes on this one drawer. Touch every card. Make the decision for each one that has been deferred since the moment it arrived in your home. Stay with me, because we are 3 items from the end. And item 11 is the one I told you about, the one you will know immediately. Item 11, the possessions of a person who no longer lives with you. After 40, many people find themselves living in a home that still contains, somewhere, the physical belongings of someone who left, a child who moved out, a parent who passed, a partner who is gone. The objects stayed because removing them felt like the wrong thing to do, like removing the person. But in Japan, there is a deep and gentle understanding that the objects of a person and the presence of a person are not the same thing. The presence lives in you. in the memory, in the way a specific light makes you think of a specific moment, in the sound of a particular song. That presence does not live in the sweater still hanging in the wardrobe, or the books still on the shelf, or the half-used bottle of something still on the bathroom counter. Those objects belong to a version of your home that no longer exists. Keeping them changes nothing about what they meant. It simply asks the home to hold an absence in a form it cannot fully hold. You are allowed to let the objects go and keep the person. Item 12. The kitchen appliances you have owned for years and never used. After 40, most kitchen cabinets contain at least one appliance that arrived with genuine enthusiasm and has not been used since. Japan's relationship with kitchen objects is specific. Every object earns its place by being used regularly. One that occupies space, requires cleaning around, and is never touched is not a neutral presence. It is the physical form of an intention that has closed. Take it out. Use it this week or release it. The cabinet space it returns to you will feel like a gift to the cook who uses the kitchen every day. Item 13. The items beside your bed that belong to yesterday's worries. After 40, the nightstand becomes a specific and revealing collection of whatever the mind cannot put down before sleep. The notebook with unfinished lists, the phone with unread messages, the book about a problem you are working through, the supplement you take for something you are worried about. In Japan, the sleeping space is considered a transition zone, the place where the day is consciously and deliberately set down before the body enters rest. And whatever occupies the surface directly beside where you sleep is occupying the last conscious visual field before your brain attempts to shift states. Clear the nightstand to 3 objects: the lamp, the glass of water, one book you are reading for pleasure. Everything else belongs in a different room where it can wait. Item 14. The cleaning products you bought for one specific problem that no longer exists. The specialist cleaner for the carpet that was replaced. The tile solution for the bathroom that was renovated. The product for the stain that came out. They accumulate under sinks and in cleaning cupboards, not because they are useful, but because disposing of them felt like extra effort that was never quite urgent enough. Japan's approach to household supplies is simple and specific. Everything stored should have an active, current, regular use. Anything stored that does not is occupying the finite space of the home with a past problem it no longer has any relationship with. Clear under your sink this week. Keep what you use regularly. Release everything else appropriately, and notice how differently that cupboard feels when it contains only what you actually need. And now, item 15. The final one. The one that ties every item on this list together. The version of your home you have been waiting to live in when conditions are better. After 40, this one takes a very specific form. It is not always an object. Sometimes it is a decision that has not been made about an object, the paint that has been chosen but not applied, the furniture arrangement discussed but never tried, the room used for storage that was supposed to become something else, the upgrade planned but deferred, the home treated as a project to be finished rather than a place being lived in now. In Japan, the home is not a destination. It is a daily practice. It is not the home you are working toward. It is the home you are in. And the home you are in deserves to be lived in fully, not provisionally, not temporarily, not as a placeholder for the version that will arrive when more time or more money or more energy allows. You do not need a better home. You need to decide that the one you are in is the one you live in, completely, right now, with the full presence of someone who chose this exact room to be their life. Make one change to your home tonight that treats it as the home you are living in rather than the one you are waiting for. That is 15. And as promised, here is the 2-step Japanese home reset test. 2 steps, under 5 minutes. This tells you exactly what to remove first. Step 1, the feeling test. Walk through your home and put your hand on any object you are unsure about. Not your eyes, your hand. Notice what your body does in the moment of contact. If there is any tension, any compression in the chest, any small pull of guilt or anxiety, that object is asking something of you. Your body already has the answer. It always has. Step 2, the threshold question. For every object your hand touched in step 1, ask this. Would I bring this object with me if I were moving into a home that was exactly right for the person I am now? Not the person I was at 30. Not the person I am hoping to become. The person I am at this exact moment of my life. If the answer is no, the object belongs to a version of your life that has already closed, and you are allowed to close it. Start with one drawer tonight, not the whole home. One drawer, the one you keep meaning to get to, the one that has been waiting. 15 things, none of them requiring money, none of them requiring a different home or a bigger one or a renovated one, all of them requiring only the honesty of someone who has lived long enough to know that what you keep in your home is a daily vote for what kind of life you are living. You do not need a bigger home. You need a lighter one. Now I want to hear from you. Look around the room you are in right now. Which of these 15 things are you looking at this moment? Tell me the number, 1 through 15, in the comments below. Because the one you name out loud tonight is the one you are most likely to actually release. And if this opened your eyes, even a little, share it with one person over 40 whose home you have been inside and quietly thought, they need this. They deserve a home that feels like exhaling. I will see you in the next one.